From Redick literally admitting the Lakers aren't ready, to Nuggets players straight up calling out Michael Porter Jr., to Kevin Durant already being tired of the glazing. The NBA recently has been wild, so let's go ahead and talk about it, starting with Jabari Smith Jr. I was told Jabari Smith Jr. has basically just chained himself to KD. He's asked the staff to tailor his entire schedule to being with KD at all times. Oh my goodness, that is a different kind of glazing, but I respect it. I mean, Kevin Durant's one of the best players of all time, and clearly it's working because I understand that Jabari Smith Jr. is a 6'11" shooter who was, the number 3 overall pick in the draft, was supposed to go number 1 on draft night, but he really hasn't been too good to start his NBA career. But apparently Ime Udoka already named him a starter alongside Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, and Alperen Sengun, who, those three were pretty obvious, but Jabari Smith, he really wasn't that great last season. So him being a starter, you know what? Maybe Kevin Durant loves the glazing. But this does have me wondering who this 5th Rockets starter is going to be. I was thinking maybe Tari Eason, but then that would make Kevin Durant the shooting guard. And then there were some rumors about Steven Adams or like another center and Clint Capella starting next to Sengun. Those are some scrimmage lineups that were happening. But then what? Is Jabari Smith Jr. or Kevin Durant the shooting guard of the team? Seems a little insane. Really unfortunate that Fred VanVleet got hurt. So this 5th starter will be interesting. Next news that happened, it's not necessarily NBA related, but NFL player Puka Nacua watches LeBron James career highlights before every game. And this might sound crazy, but whatever gets you hyped up, man. I'm not gonna lie. Even though I listen to a lot of sad music in the gym, before you walk into that gym, you're playing some Meek Mill. You're playing some rap. It's some motivational rap to get you ready. And nothing's more motivational than my GOAT, LeBron James. It's either that or a heartbreak, but I'll always take LeBron James over a heartbreak. Abdou Toure, if I'm saying that name right, is a top 30 prospect for the 2027 NBA draft, or 28, I kind of forget. And he had the decision between choosing to go to UConn and going to Arkansas, and this is what he had to say. When I was younger, it was my dream to go to UConn. These past 2 years, I see what they're about and didn't see myself playing there, didn't see my future there, so I chose Arkansas. That's a better place for me to develop, become the player I want to be, which I think is a little insane. In fact, Donovan Clingan replied to it. He says, 8 NBA players in the last 3 years, bro, crying, laughing emojis. UConn has won, 2 championships in the last couple years, like 3 or 4 years. Stephon Castle, who was like a top 5 prospect going into the draft, barely, he really didn't do too much for UConn. He wasn't getting enough shots. He wasn't scoring and all that kind of stuff. And he was still the number 4 overall pick in the draft. So I really don't think UConn is going to stop your NBA dreams. I promise, dude. Cooper Flagg was asked if he recognized any of these NBA players who were drafted in the 2006 NBA draft. And he didn't know who Hedo Turkoglu was. Maybe that's a little bit concerning. In fact, this guy has to say, number 1 picks not knowing who Hedo Turkoglu is means we are absolutely cooked. And I respect that Flagg watched Larry Bird film and stuff, but these new players' opinions on basketball history don't mean a thing. Not knowing Big Z, how can you even debate LeBron's career? A couple of things with this. One, Cooper Flagg's job is not to debate LeBron's career. I don't know why he's bringing that up, unless I missed something in the video or in a different interview where he was debating LeBron versus MJ, but I really don't think Cooper Flagg cares. I will say, though, not knowing who Big Z is growing up, in a LeBron era is pretty insane. But dude, knowing who NBA role players, and yes, Big Z and Hedo Turkoglu were role players. Most NBA players are role players. Knowing who role players are versus aren't, it doesn't give you some big superiority complex, man. Seriously, I'm so tired of it. Like, I am someone who really invests into basketball. I know most NBA players. I could probably name 300 out of 360. But if you only know 50, if you just casually enjoy the sport, even if you don't enjoy the sport, good for you. I don't care. People who care about this kind of stuff, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm looking through Twitter stuff, so it's bound to happen that people argue about the smallest things, but it's just weird to me. Marcus Smart says Luka Doncic called his agent to recruit him to the Lakers. When my agent told me Luka called him and was very interested, I didn't believe him at first. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, you're joking. I'm a jokester, so you probably get me back for something. And he's like, no, I'm serious. We really need you to sit down and we need you to talk. This is going to happen. This is real. And I'm like, oh wow, this is kind of insane. Let's start with number 1. I understand that a lot of people are friends, like really close friends, really good friends with their agents. But if you think that your agent's joking, like I just couldn't imagine being someone who really needs to get signed because this is your career, your livelihood, your income, and you hire someone to get you the job, and then he calls you saying, hey, you got the job, and then it's lying about it for a troll. I'm all for trolling my friends, but this is like, is Marcus Smart really not confident in his abilities? He is Marcus Smart, former defensive player of the year, which is still insane to say out loud, and he couldn't believe that he got a job with the Lakers, a team whose bench is trash. And I know, I'm gonna get a lot of Lakers fans watching this video. I'm gonna go and say it. Before Marcus Smart, even with Marcus Smart, your bench isn't very good. So the fact that Smart was just baffled by the fact that he had the chance to go to the Lakers, if I'm him, I'm the opposite. I'm like, do I even want to go to the Lakers? I mean, I thought he bleeded green. This is some sort of betrayal. It really is. I mean, the Celtics did trade him, don't get me wrong, but to the fans, it's a betrayal. Congrats to the Lakers, though, for getting a pretty good defender. I think he should be on the Milwaukee Bucks right now. I really do. Sorry, that was a little impression of Kendrick Perkins on Russell Westbrook. I think they'd be just as good with Russ. I'm not going to say they're worse. I'm not going to say they're better. Overall, you have Miles Turner as your center, so the spacing is going to be good, even though you're playing with Giannis. I just really think that the Nuggets actually let Russ do Russ. Like, they really set him up for success, and Russ was garbage last year. So I really don't see him being any better with the Bucks, because I think, if anything, he's going to get less opportunity than last year. Like, I get Russ was off the bench, but he was getting his shots. He was getting his usage. He had the two-man game with Jokic. It's going to be just as good/bad as with Giannis. And if you didn't like what you saw from him last year, you're not going to like him on the Bucks. Not that they have too many better options, but next to Giannis, Kevin Porter Jr., at this current year, might have a higher ceiling than Russell Westbrook. So I don't know. I kind of like them riding with the KPJ. I don't think they should get Russ. If anything, the Rockets should get Russ. Oh my goodness. Taylor Swift dropped a song with NBA lyrics? Did anyone else notice this? Fooled them all, tricked them, hee hee. They believe I want Killer Trav, fools, fools. I want Sekou Demboya. I want Sekou Demboya. No one else will do, hee hee. He is all for me, ho ho. By all the hairs on my chinny chin chin, Sekou's my prize and I shall win. Dude, oh my God. Yo, I might have to be a Chiefs fan. Dude, Taylor has elite ball knowledge. What? She's probably said Sekou Demboya's name now more than like 29 NBA teams outside of the Detroit Pistons. All right, start bench cut. I'm probably going to do one of these a video, even though it's not really news or anything, but just someone tweeted it out. Cade Cunningham, Trae Young, Jalen Brunson. I'm a Hawks fan. Unfortunately, Trae Young, you're cut. And then going into next season, I don't know if you want to start Cade Cunningham or Jalen Brunson. Last year, it was Brunson. Brunson was better. Brunson the last 2 years has been amazing in the playoffs. I don't get how you cut him. But I'm going to ride with the potential, dude. 6'8" point guard. Cade Cunningham. You know what? No. I know I just said that. I lied. I'm starting Jalen Brunson for the reason of there is a shot. There is potential. They're not the favorites or anything, but Jalen Brunson could be next year's Finals MVP, or at least Eastern Conference Finals MVP. And I'm not going to pass the opportunity to start him over Cade Cunningham, who might be slightly better talent-wise, maybe. And even then, I think Jalen Brunson's actually better talent-wise, but they are not winning the Eastern Conference next year. So start Brunson, bench Cade, cut Trae Young. Julian Strawther sends a message. We've got the best starting five in the league. Now, I don't know why he's saying this, because the starting five from last year is basically the same, except now, instead of Michael Porter Jr., it's Cam Johnson. So is this Strawther throwing shots? Is it? Because I do believe Cameron Johnson is better. I don't think an MPJ upgrade to Cam Johnson makes the difference of if you weren't already the best starting five in the league, now you are. I really don't. And the top reply is, who is Julian Strawther? Hey, let's not disrespect Julian Strawther. Hit a game winner in March Madness, a crazy three-pointer. Had 9 points in that third quarter of Game 6 to save Jokic's career to force a Game 7 versus the OKC Thunder. Unfortunately, they lost because Jokic choked, but Strawther by himself extended the series one more game. The Dallas Mavericks plan to use Anthony Davis in a Domantas Sabonis-like role on offense. How? That doesn't make any sense. For one, I don't think AD's playing any center minutes with having, Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford on the team unless one of them gets hurt. And then even then, what? Okay, maybe you run a bunch of pick and rolls, dribble handoffs and stuff like that, but you're really having AD be like the main playmaker? I mean, actually, you know what? Now that I'm saying out loud, it's not a bad idea because who else is going to do it? D'Lo? Cooper Flagg apparently. Okay, well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and go to the next news. The Dallas Mavericks experimented with a lineup featuring Cooper Flagg at shooting guard, PJ Washington at small forward, Anthony Davis at power forward, and Derek Lively at center. Man, I actually think the Mavericks are looking really good next season. Check out my podcast in the description. Next week, we're going to do the Western Conference predictions. This week, we did the Eastern Conference one. But no, yeah, they are truly missing out on a playmaker. I saw reports earlier of a possibility of Ryan Nembhard starting at point guard. I mean, he's probably the best playmaker on the team, even though I don't think he's very good. He's a rookie. Just because your last name is Nembhard does not automatically mean you have the it factor. And it's the regular season. Andrew Nembhard was weak in the regular season last year. But I don't believe that. Let AD be AD. Don't let AD be Sabonis. Let Sabonis be Sabonis. The more you know. I know, I am just throwing ball knowledge. Pat Bev thinks Gradey Dick is only known because of his last name and says he isn't even better than Luke Kennard. I think Patrick Beverley was a good player in the NBA at his peak, don't get me wrong. But last season, Gradey Dick averaged more points per game than Pat Bev ever had in his 13-year NBA career. Not that Pat Bev was supposed to be a scorer, and that doesn't mean that you have to score to make an impact, but a second-year player, you're calling a nobody, you're saying he's only famous for his last name and the jersey swaps and all that, and is even better than Luke Kennard, but you couldn't match his points per game? I mean, he wasn't on a contender every single year, so you can throw that excuse out sometimes, but not all the time. Can we all agree that these are the 4 greatest shooters in NBA history? And it's a picture of KD, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, and Luka Doncic. There are 2 polar bears in Texas in this tweet because Luka and Kyrie are not. I don't even think they're really in like the top 8. I don't even think Luka's in like the top 10 or 15 of greatest shooters of all time. Kyrie's not in the top 8. This guy said, I think KD is the greatest shooter of all time. That might be an even worse take than the original take of those 4 being the best ever. And Durag Riv says, please stop thinking. I mean, yeah, I actually think there is not a single argument you can make to say that Steph Curry isn't the greatest shooter of all time. And if you say anything else, you are either rage baiting or you're trolling or you're stupid. And we'll end this video off on some Lakers news. So Austin Reaves says LeBron could have retired 6 years ago and still been considered the greatest player of all time. In my opinion, he's the greatest player to ever touch a basketball. He probably could have retired 6 years ago, and people would say the same thing. He has enough money regardless of what he was saying on that podcast the other day. He has enough money. The only reason he's still playing basketball is because he loves the grind. He loves the game. He wants to continue to get better. One thing I'll say is, just because you have enough money doesn't mean you're not addicted to making more money. I think LeBron James, if he truly loved the grind, he would sign a minimum if he really didn't need the money. He does, not that he needs the money, but he likes the money. Everyone likes money. But on the whole GOAT thing, I mean, yeah, you could have considered him 6 years ago to be the GOAT, but I really think that 4th ring on the Lakers really helped his case, where I wouldn't say all that. I would say, like, seriously considered the greatest player of all time, probably after 2020. But you're teammates with him now. And it's funny he says that because Austin Reaves, I mean, yes, he was a teenager, but when you're a teenager saying something on the internet, it's your real opinion. You are not sugarcoating anything. You don't have a job to save. And Austin Reaves was making fun of LeBron with the no rings thing on his old social media. I'll pull it up. So his PR team has really been training him recently. And here's the last piece of news. The Lakers lost to the Suns in the preseason by 20 points. And I think most 99% of NBA fans wouldn't care because it is just preseason. Luka didn't play, LeBron didn't play. But JJ Redick says this. The reality, and this is not an excuse, this is quite literally reality. The Suns had 19 guys in the gym all of September. They did their installs similar to how we did last year. They're ahead of us from that perspective. One, why are you saying this? It's just a preseason game. No one really cares. You don't have to say that much in the post-game presser. And 2, this is not like the NBA schedule where someone might have like a really hard first 40 games and then a really easy 40 games. You're saying like the Suns had this head start, but the Lakers will be fine. The Lakers don't have time to catch up because the time that the Lakers are catching up, the Suns will still be continuing to get better. Now, I do think the Lakers will be better than the Suns next season, but for JJ Redick to say this, oh, the team's not prepared, but we have time, but every other team has time. Every other team's been working together, training together. Luka Doncic has been playing Eurobasket and apparently losing weight, but he's still like up 15 pounds from last year's training camps. LeBron James has been on like the Kai Cenat streams. Like, I really don't think the Lakers are taking it too seriously. In fact, I'll just do one more report. I think DeAndre Ayton might be the only player really taking it seriously. I mean, I guess his actual quote doesn't make much sense, but pretty much he is committed to doing the little things. He is committed to playing defense. He's committed to doing anything but scoring, which has been the exact opposite of most of his career so far. So it just kind of concerns me that the Lakers are saying that we have not been taking the offseason as seriously as a team like the Suns. Now, will the Suns be good next season? No. Will the Lakers be good? Yes. That's my opinion. But still, I still think this is concerning. And JJ Redick sometimes is so unlikable, it kind of pisses me off. And I'll just end it right on that. If you guys enjoyed the video, I'm going to be doing these like recaps probably. I'm going to try to every 2 or 3 days. Then again, I always start something and never finish it. But really, if you guys enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe. It's going to get so much better with the actual season starting. This is just some weird random news. But it's still entertaining. But yeah.